Hi, everybody. This is DearMamaSal, and we are live on a Friday lunchtime. And welcome. We've got a really exciting broadcast today. I hope. Just hang on one second. Going to get the earbuds in. We're going to be. Hang on one second. Let me show you. We're going to be doing some cleaning, and hopefully, you're going to be pretty surprised at how this works. So, let me just make sure that I've got the right earphones on. There we go. All right, fine. There we go. All right, so everybody should be hearing me now. Welcome. If you're here for the first time, DearMamaSal is a group of people that get together 3 times a week for live broadcasts. And we do 3 completely different broadcasts. One is we learn something, which is this one. In Friday evenings, we laugh together. And then on Sunday afternoon, we do our sort of almost a meditation, what we call it our Soul Sunday. And that is really a really great one. Hi, Sandy. Good to see you. So I apologize for the regulars that I was late putting the link up. It was just one of those comedy of errors. I changed my routine. Have any of you ever had that problem? Normally, I get up on a Friday and I turn on my computer and I update my emails and things, and everything's fine. And then after I've done all of that, then I move the computer into the kitchen here and get ready for the broadcast. Today, for some reason, I didn't turn the computer on. And when I went to do it, there was a problem. And so I would have found that problem out hours ago had I kept to my usual routine. But that's life. So I hope you all will forgive me. And, and I hope you're all smiling and going, yep, sounds like my life. So here we go. I'm going to, first of all, say that, just bear with me here. I'm hoping that all these little experiments that I'm about to do will work for you, because if they do, you're going to be as surprised as I was. And the reason I say that is there's something about cleaning. I'm not a big cleaner. You know what I mean? I know Beth is, if Beth comes in, but it's not my forte. So anything I can find to make my cleaning easier is a good thing. And I want to start by showing you how I started on this. I was busy in my kitchen working with some scrubbing bubbles. And I was using it in all the obvious places. And then something said to me, get your glasses on and find out what else it can work on. And then I read that it could work on stainless steel. And I went, really? Did any of you know that, right? And, obviously it works on glass. And I thought, wait a minute, if it works on glass, maybe it will work on my glass top to my oven. What do you think, guys? And so just let me know if you can still hear me okay from over here. So what I did was I came into the kitchen and I thought, well, let me try it. Any one way to find out. And so all right, could you still hear me when I was over there? You can hear. Okay, thanks, Jody. And so, I did that, and quite honestly, my expectation was 0. And I started to clean. Now, as you know, I don't use my oven a great deal because I'm a gizmo freak. So I've probably used my stove top since I last did this, a couple of times, I would say. So the question is, will it clean anything off there? And the answer is And not only that, but can you see it shining? Yeah, Jamie, I understand that your numbers are spiking. All right, so that is how I came up with this, and I'm going to get back to it in a second. But let me first of all do the intro stuff so that you guys can enjoy it. I don't think we've got any birthdays in our viewership that I know of, and if you have got a birthday this week, please let us know so we can add it to our list. However, it is Angela Merkel from Germany. It is her birthday. Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. It is her birthday. David Hasselhoff, boy, that's a blast from the past. And Donald Sutherland all have birthdays today. And I don't know about you, but there is something about those four people that you're going, yeah, it sort of makes sense. They all have the same birthday. Right? All right, so that's the first thing. As I said, I don't think I know of any birthdays, but I do know that we have got a couple of things that I want to talk about. I believe that Kerry's mom had eye surgery yesterday. I haven't heard anything. I don't know if anybody else has, but I haven't heard anything, haven't heard an update. So we'll just hope that everything went well. And what else? We have another one coming up. And I'll get to it when I find it. I've got it in my notes here. So if you're watching for the first time, please feel free to participate if you'd like to. Just a heads up, if you do participate in the chat, please remember that the chat comes off as soon as I can remember to take it off after the broadcast. But my comments about the chat stay on the live broadcast. So from that perspective, if you're going to talk about something and you only want the room to discuss it, you don't want it to be on later, just put a note up there to tell Sal not to mention it. Okay? And I will. It's also apparently National Tattoo Day, National Peach Ice Cream. Seriously? National Peach Ice Cream Day? How many of you are going? Why bother? Anyway, how about National Yellow Pig Day? Did you know that? It's Word Emoji Day, World Emoji Day. How about that one? And apparently National Lottery Day. It all sound like things to make money. The other thing that I wanted to give us a heads up in is the one that I forgot was, of course, Erin is going in for a scan on the 22nd. Now, I know that she has had some health issues this week, so it may be that they will delay that. I don't know. I'm not crying, people. I have allergies, and I did take my pill. We can deal with it. So, Jamie, I know that the pandemic is just gone absolutely haywire in California, and so my heart goes out to you. I want to tell you something that it is so sad, right? That because of the way that people just went out and thought it was over. How stupid was that? That this has happened. And I'm praying that we don't do that in Canada, quite honestly, because at the moment we have done very, very well. But I think the temptation is to go out and just live your life. And that is, we can't do that. We cannot do that. So please remain vigilant. Please, please, please. Because I want you around for a long time and I want to be around for a long time. So please make sure that you are more careful, not less careful. And, I've noticed little things are slipping because that's human nature. I'm not quite as careful with the groceries coming in. So I'm just going, Sal, be very careful and keep doing it. By the way, if you have a subject you'd like us to talk about, in any of the three broadcasts, please make sure that you let us know at DearMamaSal@gmail.com. And follow us on Facebook and Twitter at DearMamaSal. The only one that's a bit of a problem is Instagram. In Instagram, it is the real DearMamaSal, all one word. And the reason for that was that for some reason early on, I did not register that name. And by the time I woke up and thought, I'm going to need Instagram, unfortunately, somebody had already taken it and probably thought that I was going to pay them to get it back, but I didn't. I just thought I'd make a plan. So we're going to be talking about my experience with scrubbing bubbles. And just so that you all know, two things. Number one, I'm not getting paid by them to do it. I just want you to know that this is genuinely something I discovered during the week, and I wanted to share with you. And secondly, just because I'm doing it on my glass top and in my on my equipment doesn't mean that you necessarily should. Please do due diligence and take responsibility for what you do. All right. So this is like a disclaimer from me. I'm doing it because I found it worked. And by the way, I've done a bit of research, and I think as far as I can see, I'm not doing anything that it says I can't. So that is, but on the other hand, please, make sure you are accountable for your own stuff. So let's do this and just show you what I decided to do. Not proud of it, was to show you the inside of my toaster oven. Now, you probably want to get a better view of that. Just hold on one second. Can I put a bit of light in there? Can you see the back and the side there? Yeah, it's in time. And I thought to myself, I wonder, and by the way, the glass here is grungy. And I thought, I wonder if that would work. So let me show you. I've obviously disconnected it. Oh, first thing I'm going to do is the top. And I think I'm going to do those. And then I'm going to spray inside. Anybody concerned yet? Now, it's not easy to get right inside there because you need an angle. And then I'm going to do here. The glass is pretty nasty. Oh, I think I should do the side here. How many of you are going, yeah, that's Sal, she's having fun. Okay. So first of all, obviously, disconnect. That's the main thing. Now then, what do you think? And what I'm going to do is just sort of go, okay, this is the inside of the handle. Not too bad. And then I'm just going to, now I need to tell you, I have a particularly old toaster oven. This is probably, I would think at least, well, not I say particularly old, I would think it probably 20 years old. And it's one of those very deep ones. It was one of the first ones I think that they did. Okay, so that's from the inside of the window. Obviously, I'm going to have to do the outside of it as well. And okay. Yuck. That's that. Yeah. So look at this. Now, I'm not sort of doing a massive job here because I just want to show you, and I don't want to spend the whole broadcast cleaning my toaster oven. And obviously, it will need a few more goes of it. But this is what I got from the inside without even trying. All right, no scrubbing, just listed it off. Now let's see about the outside. Look at this. Amazing. So, I don't know how many of you would even think to use scrubbing bubbles on a toaster oven. But I want to tell you, that's the way I'm going to be cleaning mine in future. I just want to do the outside here. I'm certain that's going to need it. And I have put a protective area here for my worktop. Now, quite honestly, it probably would even clean the worktop, but that's a risk I don't want to take right now. So obviously this glass needs a little bit more work, and I'm not too worried about that. And quite honestly, not too much on the front side, but I didn't leave it for very long, to be honest. Okay, so there we go. Was it worth it? And how much hard work was it? What do you think? All right, I just want to read the comments before I say anything else. Sandy's saying, I stood socially distanced with a few friends and felt so guilty afterwards. I'm not ready to loosen up my restrictions, but I'm shocked how many people are letting their kids play outside with others. Yes, we all are. And I think this is the time for us to be very careful, because an awful lot of people are not being very careful. And so it is doubly important. All right, so how many of you, first of all, has anybody else been using scrubbing bubbles in the kitchen? Oh, I know what I should try as well. Okay, let me just see if I can wipe the lead. And see if that brings up anything worth seeing. Now, to be fair, I haven't sort of moved this toaster oven since I bought it from the other house. But yeah, you see that as well. So really amazing. And I'm not sure, and that's why I'm saying, take your own risk, because I'm not sure, for example, with I know that these are not stainless steel, and I'm hoping that it won't lift the, whatever the stuff is that's shiny but not stainless steel on the knobs. Okay, I'm going to put this away. Definitely is going to get a second coat this week. Any questions? Hi there, Bernice. Okay, and then the next thing I wanted to show you is, all right, so that's our first bit of cleaning with it. The next thing I did was to go, okay, well, if it does that, what else does it do? Yeah, so I want to tell you something. Bernice is saying a nice toaster. I want to tell you, Bernice, that I recommend to everybody, get a toaster. This toaster oven takes a casserole dish. It actually has a rotisserie in it. You know, I don't need to use that. Most of the time, I just use my toaster oven because it's possible. Now, one of the little tips for the day is buy yourself one of those barbecue mats and put it at the bottom of your toaster tray, right? Because it takes a lot of the grunge. But I've used this quite a bit, and as you can probably see, I just want to see, I haven't tried this, so let's find out. Can it lift the crud off one of these mats? So let's see. Okay, and while that is working, will it lift any of the burnt on stuff that is in here? And you can probably see immediately that the answer is yes. Now, how much? Again, I don't know. So then I said to myself, well, hang on a second, if it does stainless steel, maybe it'll do the Rex. So let's see. I'm going to move this around a bit. I want to make sure I've got that. I'm going to give this a chance just to penetrate a bit. And then I'm going to rinse them off. So the question is, will it clean my racks? Now, this rack, don't know if you can see. A second, let me get a light there for you. Probably not. Can you see that? It's got grunge on it. Okay. And this one's got a lot of grunge, so let's see if it does this. Of course, we're going to need more scrubbing bubbles at the end of today, but that's okay. Now, I'm not quite sure what it has in it that does this, but the main thing is it doesn't smell like oven cleaner. I guess for me that's important. Okay, and let's do this one as well. All right, let that sit for a little while and see how we do. Right, any questions on this? Oh, I'm sorry, I forgot to put it down so you could see it working. Now, part of me says, I think what it will do is loosen it, but what I'm going to do is to also use some of this just to get the worst of it. So I'll do a little bit using this and a little bit just wiping it. So how many of you going, how are you going to get? Now, how many people would use white cloths to show you this? I've had these for probably 20 years, people. All right, so on this end, I'm going to just wipe it. See what comes off. Wow, that's pretty impressive. Look at that. And this side, I'm going to scrub it. So that's pretty good as well. So I'm pretty impressed with that. I think I'm just going to carry on with that. Now, obviously, I don't want to spend the whole broadcast doing this either, but I do want to do it. So just bear with me. I wanted to be able to give you a before and after look. I would never have thought to do this. It's amazing how my curious mind gets me trying things that perhaps a lot of people wouldn't try. It's just, I have a curious mind, and therefore, as soon as I read that it would do stainless steel, I went, wow, hang on a second, what have I got in the house? I'm thinking of all the appliances that I've got that have stainless steel on them, and what else have I got that it could do? Now, this is really badly encrusted on a couple of these racks. This is left over from when I bought the house, by the way. I never did finish cleaning them, of course. Thought I would, but I didn't, because I never used my oven. So this is a good thing to do. Now I'm doing it in real time because I want you to see that I didn't do this 3 times. I just literally did it in front of you. And I'm not going for perfection because otherwise it will take too long. But I do want to just do it. And then I'll rinse it off and show you the difference. Wow. Okay, definitely a yes on cleaning. Now this is actually a baking rack type thing. And while I'm doing this, I wanted to ask, I did ask it in a video recently, if anybody has found out how to get the stains off silicone molds and things. A couple of us have got them, and we noticed that they do start to stain after a while. So I wondered if anybody's come up with anything that cleans them. If you have, let us know. Oh, I'm about to lose an earbud. Hang on. Okay, can you still hear me, hopefully? All right, and now I'm just going to wash this off because I don't want to leave it on here forever, obviously. So that's not good for me. Well, I only did the one side. But look at that. Isn't it amazing? Now this still is pretty impressive, but as I turned it around, I missed that side, so I'll be doing that after the broadcast. I'll do another coat. And so now I'm just going to rinse this off and see what it did. Yep, that's good. Now there are a couple of burnt on bits here. Oops. And all I'm going to do is see if I can just lift them off, which I should be able to, I think. But it's got what I call the everyday. Yep, that comes right off. Oops. I don't know if you can see that, but yeah, that's just lifting. The burnt on stuff is just lifting right off. So that is a good experiment. And here, and I will finish cleaning that halfway after the broadcast. It's got most of it up. And then, wow, see how much of the stuff it just has lifted off. So you imagine if you did this as part of your every weekly cleaning, this would be, or even daily cleaning if you're that clean. But obviously you would not have a problem with your pots and pans. Now you're probably wondering, does it work on the bottom of the frying pan or anything? I actually have the sort of frying pans where it's not easy for me to show you because I have these frying pans. And so when I turn them over, I haven't got straight stainless steel there. So that's not going to be very helpful for you. However, let me see if I've got a frying pan that doesn't have that. because that would be a good experiment as well. Okay, so this has got can you guys still hear me? I'm not seeing any comments, so I just want to make sure I'm still doing the right thing here. So what I'm going to do now is just try it on the bottom here. I don't know if you can see. Thank you, Jody. I don't know if you can see, but it has got some discoloration on it. Not much. It's a pretty clean plan, but it'd be nice if it could take that glass bit off. So let's see. All right. Now, is anybody else as surprised as, oh, there we go. Is anybody else as surprised as I was? Or have you all already known this? Because literally I'm going, how did I not know that? How could I have lived this long and not known that something as simple as this would lift the majority of the crud off my pants? And so, you know me, if it impresses me, it probably will be something I want to share with you. So that's pretty good. And we'll leave it just a little bit. The other thing I found, just so that you know, yeah, that's what I thought. Look at that. Yeah. Amazing. And so there we go. Still a little bit there. That's all. The rest of it, gone. Look at it. Okay, now then, I'm going to put this away. Definitely don't want to be watching that for the whole of the broadcast. And obviously these are going to get a good clean this week. All right, so. Right, so Jody's saying, I've only ever used it in my tub. It works great on other things and it cuts down on the work. Look at my stovetop. I mean, is that shiny or what? And, you know, I was actually quite surprised that it got as much as it did off my stovetop because I had done it earlier in the week. So that's pretty impressive. Okay, so now then, there's a lot more to learn, people. And that's what I did a bit of research. So you've all got the demonstration, so you all can see I'm not BSing you, right? That's the main thing. I want you to, you know what I'm like. It's like, DearMamaSal is all about helping you cope. And this is like, wow. How many of you are going, yeah, I wonder what it does inside my microwave? And I want to tell you, my toaster oven has not looked this clean. It's still dirty on a lot of people's standards, but it hasn't looked this clean in a long time. And what I found interesting, and I didn't know what it would do, I've just left it to see, but it didn't burn through the foil I have at the bottom. So that's going to get, you know, a quick clean as well. And then I will, after I've given the toaster oven a second clean, I am going to then probably put some water in there and steam it for an hour and then do a final clean. Okay, now then, let me get my notes here because I found all sorts of other interesting stuff that you can do. And it's one of those things that once you start doing these little experiments, it sort of gets you on a mission, doesn't it? So I found out it's a disinfectant dust remover, okay? So think light fixtures. Again, test it on a small piece somewhere to make sure that it's not going to cause any problem. Think, how many of you have got plastic blinds? How many of you going, wouldn't that be interesting if I could just spray my blinds and have them clean? It's also a strong odor remover. And what they suggested was, think about if you've got maybe somebody in the house that still smokes or whatever, it's a great way to get rid of cigarette smoke smells. And also, if you've got, maybe a smelly dog and it's been in the car, just clean a little bit of the inside of the windows or whatever of your car, and the dog smell will also disappear because of its properties. The thing I didn't show you, but obviously I would think goes without saying, if it cleans stainless steel, then if you've got a stainless steel sink, that's going to work. But we also, if you've got porcelain, it's going to work. So, it's just like, yeah. Why make trouble for cleaning sinks? Why not just spray them and leave it for a couple of minutes and then wipe them down and then rinse them off? So the Rex we've done, and we've done inside the toaster oven. I found out that it also works on lino. Do any of you have lino in the house? Linoleum? If you want to degrease your linoleum, oh, it's difficult for me to say for some reason, lino. If you want to degrease it, they're suggesting to use it to give it a spray, and it will lift most of the grease off lino. And also they said, if you've got scuff marks on it or on your walls. Now, I don't know about you, but I'd be very scared to use it on a wall until I'd proven it to myself. So I think I'd start off by putting something on the wall inside a closet and then spraying it to see, did it lift the paint? So if you've got good quality paint, and if it's your own house, I'd do it. I probably wouldn't do it if I were renting. But think about how many of your appliances you could now give a seasonal cleaning to, and it would be really clean. So, by the way, please remember to subscribe if you like, learning things like this. What we like to do is real experiments. We don't pre-record them. We actually do them in real time so you can see where I mess up because I'm a human. But, and so follow us here is on the subscribe button. And by the way, hit the bell and it's going to ask you, do you want all the notifications, and say yes, because then if I have a delay, as I did today, you will be able to be advised of that as well. Actually, I didn't need to put up a special note about the delay because I managed to get on anyway, but it was tight, I must admit. All right, now they did say about walls, but as I said, test first, but they're saying it really does clean off fingerprints and things. So maybe spray a bit onto a cloth and just, wipe it and see. So, it will degrease. So any grease marks or anything. The thing I haven't tried yet, but it makes a lot of sense to me, is, you've got places where there's sort of corners and you can't get in there properly with the toothbrush. They're saying spray this instead. And then spritz it with water afterwards just to clean it out. Makes sense as well. For any of you who've got babies, obviously this might be something that you will or will not think about, but what they're saying is it's actually a very good deodorizer for high chairs and baby seats. So I thought, well, if it can do high chairs and baby seats, then it can also do patio furniture. You know, my mind goes to the next step. And this one as well, I was pretty surprised in. So whatever it is, cannot be too harmful, because it says, you know, if your cat has had a hairball moment on your carpet, you can use it to clean the carpet. Or if your puppy has had an accident. So if they're, and Johnson & Johnson said that on their website. So that's pretty amazing. Any comments before I carry on? Yeah, Jody's saying a great tip to spray it into the hard to reach areas. Yes, you know, in closets or cupboards, or, you know what I'm thinking? It's going to be my next experiment, is to do the track of my patio doors. You know, how well will it clean the grunge there? Have any of you got that issue? You know, sort of. And by the way, I have a tip for that. For those of you, not actually the patio door, but for those of you who get, you know, grungy windows in the winter, I found taking paper towel and just putting paper towel into the tracks for the winter collects moisture. And if there is any dirt going around, it actually adheres to the paper towel, not to the track. And so what I do in the winter is I just stuff some paper towel down, and then, you know, every 2 months I take it out and replace it. And sometimes I'm going, yike. And it's amazing how much moisture and damp gets in there. Yes, Sandy, I would think where you live, that would be a pretty good thing to do. I want to tell you, I did it 1 year on one window, and after that, I did it around my whole house. Now, I've got double glazing here, so it's a little bit different, but I'm going to see, you know, what I can do. But now I'm quite excited. So I'll be getting another bottle of this stuff, because obviously I'm going to use it for a lot more than I have up until now. Anybody have any achievements of the week? Let's see how we did. My achievement of the week. Yeah. I scored something this week. Do I have a picture? I don't think I do. Okay. What I scored was somebody, my realtor sent me an email and said, somebody she knows is selling a 5x5 cube unit. That's a 25 cube unit. And she said, would I be interested? Well, you know, it's like there's air available. Would I be interested? So that was the good news. The good news was that I was going to be able to get a 25 cube unit for my craft room for free. So that was an achievement. However, then came how do I get it? You know, so that was a bit of a challenge. And I found out that, you know, to get a company to go get it for me and bring it back was going to be more expensive than getting a brand new one. So why bother? So then I started to get a little bit despondent about it. And, you know, one of the great things in life is you need to talk about your problems. And the reason is, that's what we've always said here, right? If you talk about your problems here at DearMamaSal, the chances are one of us has got some input that might be able to help you. So I'm busy this week meeting up with a couple of the neighbors, because that's what we seem to do. We meet up around 7 and stand in the middle of the community area here and have a chin wag, you know, all the women. And actually, one of the women invited us all to her new deck was just finished, and she invited us to come and ooh and ah. So we did. We all, you know, went into her property and had a look. Beautiful deck, amazing deck. And so what I was doing is saying, I just had this thing happen this week where I got the opportunity to get this wall unit, but I can't pick it up. Does anybody know anybody with a truck? And as I'm saying that, I'm looking, and these people had a truck. And so I said to them, and the wife said to me, yeah, we have one. So you need it? I said, well, I need a truck with 2 guys. And so the husband said, well, I'm one of them. And then one of the other women said, and my husband is the other. Just like that. And I said, you think we should discuss it with him first? Maybe. She said, no, I'm going to tell him. And so amazing that in a heartbeat, I had a truck and 2 guys, and it's going to be arriving on Tuesday. How many of you can imagine now? I'm going, oh, isn't that exciting? And then I thought, where am I going to put it? Well, obviously it needs to go in the craft room. Now, some of you know I've spent 2 months unpacking boxes and putting things away in the craft room. And I've still got a long way to go. And you can probably imagine the next part, right? In order to fit the unit in, I needed to literally tear apart the whole of my craft room. Because what else happened this week? My freezer arrived. It's bigger than I thought. So yeah, it's big enough to store a couple of bodies, quite honestly. But the freezer arrived. So, you knew that I'd be making room for that to arrive. But now I've got a freezer and a 25 cube unit. So part of me is going, that means I've got to completely redesign my craft room. And I went, take a deep breath. You can do this. And then I'm going, and I can't get Yvonne to help me. You can't say to her, listen, when you get home from work, can you give me 5 minutes so we can move a couple of things? Because she's not here, is she? And that's what I used to do. So I literally moved 3 bookcases and 4 cube units on my own very carefully. But what I found was it is doable, but it's just like a giant jigsaw puzzle. You sort of need a tape measure and work it out. But luckily, I'm a jigsaw sort of person. So I had to reconfigure the whole room. And, the bookcases that were on one wall are now on different walls. And my desk moved completely, all these sort of things. But hopefully at the end of it, it will be a better setup. And, so I can't show you the craft room this week. But once I've got the big unit in and I've got it filled, I will show you, because I'm certain it's going to look wonderful. Plus, I think that I will once I've got it in, I will do a combination of cubies in there and some of my art or some of my ornaments. You know what I mean? I'm going to turn it into a feature thing. Yeah, Jody's saying it's a lot of work, but so worth it. I want to tell you that I got a few owies. I got another one up here somewhere. Anyway, yeah, there's another one. Got a few owies doing it, but I was so proud of myself for not doing it. And by the way, Yvonne, did I talk to you guys about Yvonne coming to visit? Because she did come to visit me on Saturday. Yeah, I probably mentioned it on Sunday. And one of the things that happened was I had to get down on the floor for something. Something fell down the back of my overfilled freezer, my little one here. I say my little one. It's a 2-drawer one, and it's full. Well, it's not anymore. I've started moving stuff away. But anyway, so what happened was it got behind the drawers and in the bottom of the freezer area. I took my long-handled Swiffer and I was getting it out, which worked beautifully. And then what I did was try to get back up. And if you like, I was in that area. That's exactly where I was, right there. And, I'd just been working with the freezer there. And now I needed to get up. Now, hang on a second, let me get you a better angle here. So you're not just looking at cupboards. can do that. It's not very easy, is it? I'm a bit restricted for space here. Never mind. You get the idea. So I was in that passageway, and I started to try to get up, and I was struggling. I don't mind telling, I was struggling. And Yvonne came to help me, and I said, no. No, Yvonne, I appreciate it. If I haven't managed to get up in 5 minutes, I'll accept your offer. But in the meantime, I need to work out how to get off the floor. And it was then that I realized I really do need to do even more work on my core strength, because I want to tell you, I struggled. And I ended up getting a little bit of purchase. You can't see it here. Maybe you can. I don't know if you can see that on the corners here, there is just a little bit of strip. And that just was enough for me to sort of lean against the wall and onto that strip. And between the two walls, I was able to get up, which is good to know. If I fall anywhere, is to get into that passageway and work my way up with the aid of those two walls. So that was a good learning experience. So anybody else have an achievement? Now, I know that Jody had a big scare in her life because Lionel hurt his back again. And we think it's sciatica. Is that right, Jody? And while you're typing, whatever it is you'd like the viewers to know, I just want to tell you that Yvonne's visit was wonderful. It was just so nice to have her come visit and to be normal. And when I say normal, we stayed socially distant, and I cooked her a meal and she ate it. And by the way, one of the things I found out in this day and age is, really cook the meal and put it in front of people and just say, hey, I don't know what your allergies are. I don't know what you can tolerate and not tolerate. And so therefore, feel free to, take as little or as much as you like. I will not be offended. Yvonne's got a couple of issues going on for her. And she really thanked me for that. And I said, no, it's not, my fun was in cooking it. And for those of you who know my crepe maker, I actually cooked the chicken on the crepe maker while I was talking to her, and the vegetables. It was just like, it was just, I was standing here talking and I was cooking at the same time, and that was awesome. Procrastination. How are we doing on procrastination? Anybody? I still haven't invested the second part of the money that I want to invest. I'm working on it. I'm doing a lot better. I've invested one lot, but now I have a second lot that I want to put away somewhere so I don't spend it. So that is good. And I am starting to get my finances together as well. And I say that because, I found out that I've been doing so much unpacking and DearMamaSal stuff. I literally haven't been getting my finances up to date and really checking how much am I spending in my new place. And so that's going to be an interesting thing to come up with a new budget, so that I can feel comfortable. So I'm working on that at the moment, and I'm trying to find a time of the day to do that. Yeah, Jody is saying about Lionel, he has a very nasty sciatica going on, and that is very, very painful for him. Now, Jody, that will affect your life as well, because it means he's not going to be able to help you and lift you as much. So I would think it also means that you will get more creative about how to help yourself. Would that be a fair comment? And for those of you who don't know, Jody is our admin, and she also has a number of health issues. And Lionel, her husband, has been helping her. But if he is out of commission because of his back, that means that the pressure is now on Jody to do things to help herself a different way. So it'll be interesting to hear, Jody, what you've managed to work out, because I know that you are a problem solver as well. And it's been a major challenge, yes. And I also hear that, it also is a major challenge because this was not in your budget either. And so I heard, did I understand this correctly, that you ordered some patches, some ice packs for Lionel, and Amazon delivered them outside your door, and before you could get to it, somebody had stolen them? I think there needs to be a special place in where for people that do that sort of thing. Okay, so Jody's saying that's right, that she is now rearranging a few things for ease of accessibility. Yeah, so you will do things that will help you in different ways. Good. I don't have a scam of the week that I'm aware of. If anybody does, let us know. And I would say that overall, how would you rate your week? And I know for Jody, it's been a difficult week. Sandy, how would you rate your week? And, what are you proud of this week? And, is there any support that we can give anybody? Let us know. And Jamie, if you're still there, Jamie, if everything is back in lockdown, that means that you are not working again. Am I correct in that? Hi, Sharon. Good to see you. How was Yvonne? She was wonderful. It was just so amazing. And I got her to meet my neighbor that, I've been quite close to since I've arrived here. And I've made sure that they both agree for me to let them have each other's contact information, so that, if they're worried about me, they can contact one another to keep a track on it. Yeah, Jody's saying, about her week, she'd rather not rate it, but she survived it, and that is a good thing. Hi, Eve, good to see you. Wow, and Eve's saying she's back to physio and post-concussive therapy. Yeah, that is, physio is, if you've been able to get back to that, that's awesome. So obviously you're not in California. So I don't know how this is going to work. To me, that's sort of a little bit scary how it's going to work. And what I do need to, under the sort of banner of be prepared, not scared, I think you're going to find out that we are nowhere near anything like the end of the first wave. I think we're still in the first wave. All right, Eve is now in Canada. Are you in Canada full time or just visiting? You were born in San Diego. It's a pretty place, San Diego. I've been there. So here, I look at it and go, I was talking to one of my friends here in Canada, and, we were talking about what they are, what the plans are. And she is saying that, quite honestly, her company is just saying, stay home, just stay there. They are going to, she is in UBC. If anybody has ever heard of that, that's the big university here in Western Canada. And she is part of the admin of UBC. And one of the things that she was saying is they are now looking at what things have to be done one-on-one. For example, you can do an awful lot of training online, but if you're training medical students, they're going to have to interact with patients, and they're going to have to take blood and do practical things like that. And you cannot do taking blood on a computer. You've got to actually be doing it. So they're trying to work out how best practices that they can do for things like that. So Eve is saying she was born in San Diego, but lived in Seattle for decades and now live in beautiful Canada. Oh, isn't that wonderful? Was it relationship related that you crossed the border? I say that, people ask me, why did you go to Canada? I say, he was tall, dark, and handsome and craved my body. What can I say? Otherwise I'd still, not be here. Yes, Eve's saying most of my friends are working from home here. Yeah. Jody's saying, I heard somebody say I refuse to wear a mask. This virus stuff is nothing but politics, and I still have my rights in the US. Jody added, and you don't want to know my thoughts about that. Yeah, and so, phlebotomy does require some human interaction, right? So things like that. So, but they're working at it. And that's why I find it really interesting to talk to Marnie about what they are working on to do that. How are they going to do that? Because obviously they will have infection control, 301 or 401. Jamie's saying, I'm hearing the same from some people saying they are immune. Well, good for them. What about the rest of us? All right. I've already got, and I've got to say this, I've already got neighbors saying, oh, I'm not going to bother to socially distance from you guys anymore. And I'm going, okay. Which may mean that I'll be a bit lonely this winter. But I've decided, and rightly or wrongly, I've decided to nominate a couple of people as my family. So let me ask you, for those of you, what are you doing when you are around family? Are you now meeting with family members? Right, and Eve is saying, I wear a mask to protect others. I'm no scientist or doctor. I just hate to see healthcare workers back home so overwhelmed. Absolutely. And, one of the things that I said to Yvonne is, do you have an N95 mask? Because I have a spare one. And I gave it to her because I know she goes to work every day. And so, that to me was like, that's something I could share. And it hopefully might help her as well, So does anybody have any tips on, things that you've heard that might help other people to be more safe? So Jamie's saying we haven't seen family members and anyone who doesn't live in my house. Okay. Eve's saying, I've seen my daughter Samantha and my granddaughters twice since March 13th. Hi, Jeannie. Good to see you. How are you doing? So, that's what I decided, Jeannie, Eve, because I am on my own and I don't have family in the normal sense of the word. Doug, I consider to be family. But even when he comes, we sit socially distant. When I consider Yvonne to be family now. And so therefore, when she came, I allowed her into the house because I realized I've got to take some gamble here. Otherwise, my mental health could be severely affected. So Eve's saying, I believe in hand washing and social distancing. So here's my question to you all. How many of you have noticed that you're not hand washing quite as much, you're not disinfecting quite as much, and you are not as careful with the groceries coming into the house quite as much? Or has it all become a routine that you will do for the rest of your life? Let's get some feedback on that. Where have you noticed that you have dropped off a little bit? Eve says, I'm like crazy. And I will forever. Okay, Jamie's saying it's a routine now. And, I still have after all those little experiments we did, I still have on one side of my faucet here, I have soap, and on the other side, this is disinfectant and aloe vera gel. So I think I'm going to be a little bit more. What I do if Dougie comes, I always put a disinfectant next to him, and I give him disinfectant spray. So if he needs to go in to use the washroom, he can spray the door handle before he touches it, and he can spray whatever he wants to. There's a bottle of disinfectant spray in the washroom. So that's important. Jeannie's saying, I took Misty, that's her beautiful Wheaten Terrier. I took Misty to the vets for blood work, etc. She's had bad stomach problems recently. And they said she was terrific, even fell asleep. Oh, isn't that wonderful? So did they say what caused the stomach upset, Jeannie? Jamie's saying, when I'm washing my hands, I'm saying the Lord's Prayer. That's clever, all right? So for those of you who know the Lord's Prayer, as you're washing your hands, take your time. Our Father, who art in heaven. I would say, even so, Jamie, you've probably got this, at different stanzas within that prayer, do different things. So like, so the first bit, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Yeah, I can see that. That's clever. All right, Jody's saying she's disinfecting mail. I must admit I have not been as regimented with it. Yeah, Jody, you and I both. And that's why I'm just giving a heads up to everybody. Let's all get clever again, right? All right, so Jeannie's saying the results of the blood work, etc., come back on Monday and the vet will call. Okay, awesome. So you'll be able to know what's wrong. It might have just been something that she had. So good. Anybody else got any other suggestions that they have? Jamie, I really thank you for that. That's nice. And by the way, if you don't know the Lord's Prayer, maybe you pick your favorite song or poem or nursery rhyme. Mary, Mary, quite contrary. Yeah, you know what I mean? It's a clever way to do it because, and the other thing is this, if you can't take the time to do that, how many of you have seen that advertisement for Calm, where they literally say, take this 30 seconds to be calm, and they do nothing else except show you the clock going around for those 30 seconds. Or 15 seconds or whatever it is. And, it's amazing when you realize how long that is and how difficult it is to do nothing for that time. I've got one of those 2-minute things on my watch where it says relax for 2 minutes. It's amazing how long 2 minutes is if you don't do it. So I would say, Jamie, that not only is it a good idea to recite the Lord's Prayer or your favorite song or whatever, sing, for those of you who can sing, but also it's good for your mental health. All right, so Jeannie's giving us an update on her house. For those of you who don't know, Jeannie's house burnt down. Well, most of it burnt down. And she has now saying that demolition is the next step, right? The builder must get the permits. But that's so everything's been cleared out of the house that can be, and now they will demolish it. That's awesome. Well, not awesome, it's heartbreaking, but at least, and does the foundation stay, Jeannie? Have they told you that? Or do they have to rebuild the foundations as well? So heads up to all of us, let's be prepared and not scared for this pandemic to get worse, not better. Jamie's saying, I'm noticing the obesity rate has skyrocketed since the pandemic. Yes. Can we talk to that? I've noticed that my blood sugar is doing weird things. And I've got a problem where my during the day, blood sugar reading is fine. It's within limits. But for some reason, overnight, it's spiking. And I need to find a different way of eating at night, unfortunately. Now, I'm pretty sure that it's not, I actually checked it on a separate meter this morning, and it's still red-green. I'm not sure what the number should be when you wake up in the morning, but mine appears to be higher than it was. So to me, that's a red flag that I need to do something differently. But boy, I'm struggling to do it because all the things I like to eat at night are carby. And, I've got to find non-carby things that I like that I can eat at night. So you can go, okay, fine, boiled eggs, but how many of you want to eat boiled eggs late at night? I love cheese, and that's okay to eat, but, I have cheese and crackers. So then they have, okay, fine, well, let me have cheese on apple. Well, guess what? Apple's got sugar. So, so anybody who's got any bright ideas for late night snacking and eating, let me know so I can. What about popcorn, Jody? Right. Yeah, Jeannie's saying we seem to eat a big meal in the early afternoon and then have a smaller meal at night. I haven't eaten all day. I normally don't start eating until 3 or 4, and then I do the same thing. Yeah, Jeannie's saying brie with crackers is a favorite snack of ours. It's my favorite as actually. I have Leicestershire cheese and crackers. So I just want to see what it is now. I know what it was when I think I took it around about 10 o'clock. Let's see where it is. It was 7.5, I think, in a Canadian. Jody will let you know what that is in American. I don't know what it is. For those of you who understand, I'm just going to take it now and see what it's down to. I'm pretty sure it will be quite a bit lower. So I'm definitely looking for anybody that might have any ideas. Oh, helps if you have a tester strip in this, huh? I'm now dripping blood everywhere. And that's an error, of course. Okay, let's try again. Do not panic. Take it slowly. So just interested. I got blood everywhere. Oh, thank you, Jody. Jody's saying that my 7.5, which it was this morning, is 135 in American. Okay, so it's now down to 6.4, but I still think that's high. All right, so you just grab a cheese stick. Yeah, so I've got to just not get the carbs with it. So take the cheese stick. Now, what I did do last night that I thought was going to help me, and I was wrong, was I took I made what I call a Metamucil smoothie. So I had, Metamucil with almond milk and fruit. So what was it about fruit you forgot? So any input that you guys have as to what can I put with almond milk that's not fruit? In other words, is it okay? What else can I put with my almond milk to make it more filling as a snack? That's what I'm trying to work on. Things that I can do, not things I can't. That's the way. Because I want to get this back under control. Why don't we call Isabel Bell? Does she not like it? I don't know. She strikes me as a bell. All right, so Jamie's saying she's starting a juicery juice cleanse this weekend to reset her body. Oh, Jody, thank you. Jody's saying I can put in frozen strawberries or raspberries as they're lowering carbs. Okay, now I had a mix of strawberries, raspberries, blueberries, and peaches in the mix that I put in. So they were all frozen. So that didn't cause the spike. Interesting. Let's get some feedback on the blueberries. Actually, I'm happy with strawberries and raspberries. So now I've got the freezer. Now, blackberries I don't have because they end up in my teeth and it takes me forever. Okay, so blueberries are okay. What about the peaches? I think there were 2 slices of peaches in there. So I'm nearly there. So that probably didn't cause the spike. Then what did I have? Cheese and crackers. Yeah, okay. Now, the other thing I did this week that I found helped me is, and I want to find out from you guys who know about these things. Let's see if I've still got some here. Finish them. Okay, I did, instead of having just oatmeal, I had quarter of a cup of oatmeal and quarter of a cup of chia mixed together. Now, I found that's a really tasty snack. Not for late at night, obviously. Blueberries are great antioxidants. Yes, that's why I try to have, I have a sort of routine of things that I need to eat. And, like, have I had my fruit today? Now, how I have it is up to me. I can have it in yogurt. I can have it as a smoothie, but I try to eat about half a cup of fruit minimum every day in that way. And then I also have an apple with cheese. So that's what I'm trying to do. So obviously I need to have a couple of days to get my blood sugar back under control and get it back. I was in the low 6s. So now that I'm up where I am, it's time for me to take control again. Now, what is I don't know what that is. I don't even know how it's pronounced. Is it pluet or plus? I'm certain she'll let me know. Oh, Sandy's saying, I've been listening to a great book called Bright Spots and Landmines. Jody Pluet, I did get it right the first time, good. So Jody, if you could remind me to have a look at that. Did anybody else be reading anything interesting? I actually did get the book about, I did get the book on Mary Trump. Boy, is that interesting reading. Jody's saying, a little Debbie cake's a fruit. Asking for a friend. Yeah, a very good friend. Yeah. A cross between a plum and an apricot. That sounds wonderful, but it does sound like that would be loaded with sugar. Why do I think that? Yeah, again, I try to have I allow myself this much in trail mix type things in the day. And again, I've been having that at the end of the day. So that obviously I've got to stop doing that. Or maybe only have it every other day or something. So this is really interesting. Bright spots and landmines. I will download that and start reading what I can. Thank you so much. It's just that, you know something, it's really important that we share what information we can, because even if people are not pre-diabetic at the moment, it's health stuff, right? And so I'm pretty sure that Jamie's got input on this one as well. Wow, that's what I thought, Jody. So one fluid is 19 carbs with 3 fibers, so that's 16 carbs net. That's pretty high, right? Can we do a comparison? What is an let's say what is an orange? Why do I make Jody do the hard work? She's got enough problems. Let me find out. You know, it's really important, because this is how I got to be pre-diabetic. I didn't realize that bananas were as dangerous. But on the other hand, I try to have half a banana a day, because I know that is also good for me on other levels. Let's find out what an orange is. Okay, so an orange is 15.4 grams of carbs, of which 3 are fiber, 12.25 sugar. Wow. That's pretty amazing, isn't it? So what if I hear you correctly, Jody, berries are better. Yeah. How many carbs in orange juice? Let me tell you in a heartbeat. 3 grams in orange juice. That's not bad. But nearly all of it is sugar. And that would be bottled or in a carton, right? Or are you talking fresh orange juice? It's part of me because, yeah, that would be an orange or 2. So perhaps we could start something. What do you guys think? There are enough of us that are into this that maybe we could have a weekly thing about what do you call it? Swapping out instead of eating. The popcorn is high, is it? But I also would think net wise, by the time you've taken the fiber off it, it's not too bad. But I could be wrong. Let's find out, just so we can let people know. How many of you would be interested in that? That we sort of do a bit of research, and every week we're going. If you're trying to decide between having a banana or having an apple, go for the apple, because I'm going to go for just air popped, not any flavors on it or anything. And that would be 6 grams of carbs, only 1 gram of fiber. So that's 5, but that's lower than a lot of things, right? So maybe I need to go back to eating popcorn in the evenings. So I'm thinking, yes, Jody's saying berries are friendly for you, lower in carbs, and they have fiber. Okay, so I will maybe start having, what about yogurt, Jody? That's bad, right? Yogurt's bad. What can I have with the berries? Yeah, I'm beginning to think my homemade muffin was better for me than the things I'm trying to have instead. Funny, isn't it? Sometimes the things you think are worse. I've noticed that since I've stopped having my muffin, my sugars have gone up. It's a good reason to go back to muffins with frosting on top. All a big experiment, right? That's how we learn things. Again, and now that I've got a couple more people in here, just if you've got any birthdays, please let us know, because we're trying to update our database here. Did any of you have a scare this week? Right. Sandy's saying that, first of all, Jodie's saying that yogurt is okay, the plain type. I think I've got vanilla. And Sandy's also saying, I have trouble with yogurt, but if you buy the unsweetened, it may work. No, that wouldn't work. But I've got to finish the yogurt, so I'm having a little every day. Yeah, Jodie's got the info. Okay, thank you so much, Sandy. I appreciate that. But this is how we learn, and this is, I've done pretty well up until now, but I don't want to. It's a bit like what we're saying about be careful now with the hand washing and sanitizing. Let's get smart again. I've let this part slip. I've put on weight again, and so Jamie, I agree with you. I am certain that people have been eating a lot more junk food. What I find so interesting is the number of people who are ordering in from restaurants and things. And so to me, I'm going, maybe it would be good for my mental health to go and have some poutine, go to the drive-by window and have them, give me some poutine. Now, we all know that's loaded with sodium, but, it's like, the part of me really wants to have some poutine. I was surprised that, half a baked potato actually isn't that damaging. And so I'm going back to what can I have? And I bought some kale this week. And what I did is I chopped half of it up finely to use in salads. And the other half I have kept to use last night for dinner. I was very proud of myself, and yet look what happened to my blood sugar. But last night for dinner, I had a vegetable casserole where I had all sorts of different vegetables, including kale, chopped with some cheese. And I thought, oh God, that will help bring my blood sugar down. No, it pushed it up. But maybe what I had afterwards pushed it up. Have any of you noticed an increase in prices at all? If so, where? And now that I've got the big freezer, I am literally going to be buying probably whatever meat is on special, but whatever meat roast is on special. That's what I'm going to be working on, is to make sure that I've got a couple of really nice roasts in the freezer. I'd like you to do a little bit of research on this one, which is to buy a whole chicken, and cook it. Will give you how many meals, as opposed to just buying 1 or 2 chicken breasts on their own. And what I really want to make sure that we understand is that, hi, ML, good to see you. How were your exams, honey? What I want everybody to see is that, buying meat now is going to be a good thing, if you can store it. And I found found out something really interesting from some friends of mine. They said, hey, Sal, if you want to make some money, empty your storage shed and rent it out. They are paying, they told me, for the size of my storage shed, they're paying $300 a month. Can you imagine that? And you know, that's a lot of money. And part of me is going, wow, isn't that interesting? But I certainly could, you know, after next year, when I've had a chance to get half of this stuff out of there, you know, maybe rent part of it to somebody that I know. You know, it's like, yeah, why not? So Amel saying, I'm finished, but waiting for the results on the 25th. So Jody, can we make a note to check in? That's not far away now. Well, we'll keep our finger. How did it feel, Amel? Because I know you were really scared a couple of months ago. How do you think you did? And what I wanted to find out, Amel, is are they giving any leeway to the fact that you had to write these exams in the middle of a pandemic? Because, you know, some places they are giving students an opportunity to retake some exams because they know the stress that the pandemic has put on people. Yes, some, you know, Emil's saying that some of the exams were pretty hard. Yep. So, you know, you may want to find out, you know, that you just go, hey, this was done in the middle of a pandemic. Is there any way I can, you know, redo these if you need to? And just don't worry about it. Exactly, Emil. Emel's saying, but I try to do my best. You know something, Emil? One of the things I tell people, I always remember when I wanted to become a radio ham before we had the internet. You know, I studied and studied, and I ended up taking the exam. I was one of very few people who took the exam because in South Africa, it used to be almost impossible to get a radio ham license. But the first time I failed it by this much. I mean, literally, I was like 5 points away from passing. And I tried so hard. And then I went, you know something? I am this far away, so I need to keep up this knowledge and increase it by this much. And I spent the next 6 months doing that. And then I passed it. And, you know, it was like, I didn't care that I only passed it by this much. The main thing was I was now a radio ham. So don't ever quit on yourself, Emil, right? Regardless of what this result is. Don't see it as a judgment of your abilities. I think it's important, Emil, for you to remember that a few months back, you did a reality check, which is, I have not done enough studying. You see, I thought that was your saving grace, that you could own that reality because you knew you hadn't. And to me, that told me something about you, that you didn't blame the pandemic, you didn't blame anything else. You said, I haven't been studying enough. And to me, that was great character. And I'm very, very proud of you. So I'm sending you a big hug. I really, you know, whatever the result is, the fact that you could own that, and it, you know, is the most important thing. One of the things I say, you know, whether it's about, you know, when I say to people, yeah, but I'm obese, and they go, oh, no, you're not. And I go, oh, yes, I am. I'm obese. Yeah. And the most important thing for me is to own that reality. And I can get rid of being obese by stopping what I put in my mouth. And I'm still struggling with it. And it, you know, it's really quite simple, isn't it? Eat less and eat less carb, and you will lose weight and you will not be obese. But boy, why is it so difficult? So now I'm looking at, you know, is it okay to have caramel sauce? You know what I mean? It's just like, because it's no sugar added caramel sauce, you know, it's like, I've got to find something where I can get that sweetness without necessarily having the sugar. And because, you know, I really don't want to give that sweetness up, do I? Ooh, I call these my indoor earbuds because they do fall out. I've now got ones that I've got on a strap that I can wear outside because, really, I must have small ears or something. So I'm definitely going to be looking at what can I trade up. I'm on a measure. How does real maple syrup? Interesting question. Oh, actually, I've got it right here. So let me tell you. Hold on. There we go. This is 100% pure maple syrup. 18% carbs. 53 grams of carbs, of which 47 are sugar. In other words, sugar in a bottle. That doesn't mean you can't have it, all right? Yeah, Jeannie, we need to know. The other thing is, oh, that's not going to tell me. Hold on a second. Just need to find something. I thought you might be interested in, what about honey? So this is raw honey, and raw honey is 17 grams, of which 16, that's sugar in a bottle, but not quite as bad, right? So the maple syrup was 53, so better to have whole honey, raw honey. And if you get this stuff that they call honey, but it isn't, they haven't got, I thought that was illegal. They haven't got the, hang on a second, I'll just check the barcode on that because we can do that. Okay. I love this fact that you can actually just take a barcode and well, that didn't work. Yeah, and that's what I'm saying, that this is, raw honey, which I would think would be better than, but this apparently, I thought this was different, but this actually is liquid honey and it's pure honey. So this is the sort of like the local store stuff. But I seem to remember Benji telling me that this is not necessarily honey. But if it says 100% honey, 100% Canadian pure honey, it has to be, right? Am I correct on that? So honey is better than maple syrup. So Jeannie, use this over that, but maybe Sundays allow yourself maple syrup. You know what I'm saying? If you're using, how often do you have maple syrup? I must admit, I use maple syrup on my vegetables every now and then. I will just drizzle a little oil and a little maple syrup over it, and now I know why it tastes so good. Yeah, everything is unfolding as it should. Oh, you make pancakes for York, so once a week. Yeah, so to me, it's about. And hold on a second, Jeannie. Let's make sure we get real here. A quarter of a cup is 53 grams. Quarter of a cup's quite a lot. So And by the way, it's really easy to have 1/4 of a cup when you're pouring it out of that hole. So my suggestion is, one of the ways I reduce the amount of oil I use is I put my olive oil into one of these honey containers. Because, it doesn't, I can then just shake it and a couple of drops of oil come out rather than, half a cup. So you might want to put your maple syrup into something like this where you're not drizzling quite as much. Does that make sense? And what does he have with his pancakes? Other than maple syrup? You do put the syrup into a smaller container. Okay, fine. So it's about, I definitely find that helps me. The other thing, I have a blend. Bacon is not altogether bad. Bacon in terms of protein is good. I put I've got a blend here of stevia and brown sugar. Mostly stevia, but a little bit of brown sugar in it. And this is what I shake. This is what I shake over my latte. So, but I just put some holes in it so that, it doesn't. Yeah, that's good. So not as much goes out. Wow, Beth's been in hospital for a lung infection. Wow, I'm so sorry to hear that, Beth. So you're back home with some oxygen. Jody, let's put up some thoughts and prayers if we can. So, Jeannie, bacon, I think Jody will let us know, but I think bacon is better for you than you think. Better for you than sugar. So one thin slice of bacon, I think the damaging part about bacon is the sodium and the fats. So I'll let the gurus who know more about it, like Jody and Beth, talk to you about bacon. So Beth, is this a leftover from the COVID-19, do you think? Because I'm hearing that the aftermath of this COVID-19 is way worse than they realized. And you've had COVID, so. All right, so the doctor says not much bacon. Okay, so he's on a low cholesterol diet, right? So I think, the smart thing, Jeannie, is to find out, maybe you say to him, at the moment you're eating 4 rashers a week. How about we make it 3? Because that's cutting it by 1/3. And basically, if 1/4. So, I'm thinking bacon is okay if you're limiting carb intake, more like a keto or low carb diet. But if you're not monitoring your carbs, just watch the sodium. Yeah, that's what I thought, and saturated fat. So the other thing is this, does he have regular bacon or Canadian back bacon? Because back bacon is much better for you, but it doesn't get all crispy and stuff the same way. The other thing is, have you tried other things, Okay, Beth, I didn't want to say that publicly, and I'm still not going to, but I'll let the people in the room see that. Okay. Yes, back bacon is much lower in fat, obviously, because it's just the meat of it. So tell him, hey, maybe you could give him 2 rashers and 2 slices of back bacon, so he gets the bacon taste but half the fat. Do you think he'd go for that? Or is he the sort of person that says, well, I'm dying anyway, so let me just eat it? I mean, I understand that this is, yeah, I've tried turkey bacon as well. However, I found turkey sausages not as bad as I thought. So it's not that you can't have it, Jeannie. It's like, how much is he having? And if he wants to have 4 slices of bacon with his waffles, then not every week. All right. So the same thing is, I love crepes. My comfort food is a crepe, as you all know. And what I said was, I can have crepes more often if I use almond flour on a 50-50 basis with regular flour. But Jeannie, before you say I sometimes switch it to sausages, what sort of sausages? Because get real about sausages. What are sausages made of, right? So what sort of sausages does he have? Beef sausages, pork sausages? And my question is, have you considered making your own? That's another thought. All right, let me do the countdown before Jody tells me that I haven't done it. Pork sausages. Okay, so do the research. You've got your phone now. You can do the research as easily as anybody. Compare the fat value of a pork sausage versus the fat value of a beef sausage. Maybe you do pork and chicken mixed. Chicken sausages with apple are very tasty, yes. And I've started making my own. I buy, minced chicken, and I mix it in with some of the pork, and I do pork and chicken mix now, just so I can lower the fat content a little bit and just make my own. So think about that, or make patties rather than sausages, right? Where you can mix it up. And I also put vegetables in there, so all the time I'm cutting down the amount of fat. All right, let's see what we've got here. For those of you who... Easter, 8 months away, 8 months and 20 days. Wow, isn't that amazing? And Lent would therefore be 7 months and 4 days away. We've got 7 months until Valentine's Day. Christmas is now 160 days away. It's coming up fast, people, which means we need to get our Christmas cards started. Have any of you started? How many of you make your own Christmas cards? And if you do, this would be a good time to start making them. You've got 4 months and 2 weeks to do that. Niash is saying, is the apple with the chicken a substitute for sugars or something? No, it's just a nice taste with chicken and apple together, a really nice taste. And apple is sugar anyway. So, but I'll let Jody answer the correct answer. For those of you who celebrate American Thanksgiving, you've got 4 months and 12 days. And Canadians, really, is that possible? We've only got like 2 months and 27 days, nearly 3 months. Yeah, because ours is in October. Wow, that's amazing. You see, I think quite often you can make your own, just going back to this thing, stop thinking sausages and think patties, because you can make your own, mixing a little bit more chicken in, or a little bit more apple, or a little bit more other things, vegetables in. It's the same thing as when I make shepherd's pie. I tried making chicken shepherd's pie. You know what I mean? I tried making a shepherd's pie with chicken rather than with beef. And that was interesting. I haven't got it right yet, but I'm still working with it. It was a lot more dry than I expected. So I'm still working on how to make it work. But it's like, it's possible to do. I just got to work out how to do it. As difficult as it is to think about, I've been here for 6 months and a week now. Oh, that's interesting. Jeannie's saying they were given more kitchen items today. Large serving spoons, tongs, and 4 nice coffee mugs. Yeah. So that's awesome that people are still contributing. And the thing is, Jeannie, is to keep letting them know what you need next, right? Because people will, same as I was saying at the beginning of the broadcast, people can't help you unless they know you need help. So, I would be updating that list as often as you can. If you've got it up at your local church or something, keep thanking, do a lot of thank yous to people, because some people will give second and third time. They'll just keep doing that. Some people have got way too much stuff, like so. Yeah. I'm finding that I'm giving stuff away to my neighbors at the moment, because I've heard that they looking for something and I uncover it the next day and I go, oh, I know who needs that. So that is working for me pretty well. All right, so now I'm hoping that you all enjoyed the story about the scrubbing bubble. I want to tell you something that has changed. And Beth, I wonder if you knew how many uses that has. And look what it did to my glass top. You can see it sparkling now. Not only did it get the crud off, but it also made it shine. So really interesting. And for those of you who missed it, pretty good, huh? And you all know, does anybody not know how to get fat off the, sometimes these ceramic pans get stained. Have any of you had that problem? Does anybody need to know how to clean them? Yeah, it's pretty good, isn't it? Even I was pretty impressed with that. So does everybody know? It's one of my most popular videos, funny enough, but I thought I would quickly tell you if anybody needs it right now. I threw away, actually, it's funny, you can use fabric softener sheet, all right, and just put it in there and just let it simmer, right? Okay, what I didn't know, and this is what I found out, Jody, if you remind me, I will put up the link to that video. So you can literally see me use it. This is probably over a couple of years old now, but it gets stained inside, right? So what I found was if you take some coarse salt, the Himalayan stuff, or it doesn't have to be pink. What I didn't know was the stain is the oil on top of the ceramic. It's not in the ceramic. It is like it creates a film on top of it. Does that make sense to everybody? Once you understand that, then all you need is something to remove the film. And quite honestly, a bit of salt, you know, I just literally will take some salt and I will, I have got a video of it. Just literally put some salt in like this, and then take a wet face cloth, or, you know, I just happen to use face cloth for a lot of things, right? And then I will just gently remove the coating. Is that making sense to people? And if you've got a non-stick pan, this is, I must admit, I even taught Benji this one. If you've got a non-stick pan that is starting to stick, cook green onions in it before you use it. If you want to make an omelet or something and you want it just to slide off, cook green onions in it first. Green onions have something in them that will make your pan non-stick. All right, so Sandy's saying, I know you were talking about procrastination earlier. I'm having trouble being productive when the sun is out and it's beautiful outside. All right, so what is it, Sandy, that you are not doing that you would like to do? So let's give you some Dear Mama Sal support here. First of all, it's probably part of you is saying, it's, you know, I live in Canada, it's not going to be sunny for very long. So let me enjoy it while it's here. Totally understand that. So what I found, Sandy, is while the sun is up, that's what I do. But whatever it is that you're feeling guilty about, do it when the sun goes down. For example, I've changed my life around in lots of ways since I've retired, because, you know, I don't get up until late. And so I've lost part of the day. So it's really important for me, because I like to get out into the fresh air twice a day. How many of you do that? Normally once about lunchtime, I go out there and I will, you know, just get some fresh air. I can even just go to my deck, all right, which is covered, and just tidy up there or do whatever. I'm getting fresh air. You know, I don't have to be going for a 10-mile walk or whatever. My concern is, am I breathing in fresh air? And so I go either out into the garden and do something, or I will literally go to the deck and just sit there sometimes. I'll take my phone with me and check on my emails in the fresh air. I cannot tell you how important that is. But the second thing is I will go out again about 7 o'clock and I'll go for a walk. And so to me, I try to make sure twice a day I get fresh air. So Sandy, is this making any sense that don't feel guilty that you're enjoying the sunshine? That would be very sad, because, you know, you need the sunshine and it's not around. So therefore, change your thinking and change when you do it. So what I still haven't seen you type up what it is. Oh, there we go. That's what I've been doing. I'm trying to enjoy every minute outside that I can. I just feel guilty that some chores are falling behind. Okay, which ones are falling behind? I just want to get to the truth of this. What is it that's falling behind? I assure you, Sandy, when I had to spend a full day tearing the whole craft room that I'd spent 2 months putting together, when I spent a whole day having to pull it apart and not do all the other things I was meant to do that day, just so that I can put in a wall unit that's coming next week, I felt pretty guilty for not doing the other things. And then I said, what are you doing to yourself? Yeah, life is not going to stop because you missed a day of doing those other chores. So it sounds to me like you're beating up on yourself, maybe without reason. So let's hear. I really would like to know which chores you're beginning to feel guilty about. I found a new trick, by the way, if anybody wants this one. I found a new trick about cleaning my bathroom. And in fact, I found a new trick for cleaning a lot of things. I now know that I am going to go and visit the washroom, so many times a day, right? And what I do is if I go to the washroom, which is the other end of the house, I do something in each of the rooms as I come back. So for example, I will tidy up one more thing in the bathroom before I leave it. Then I'll go to the bedroom and I'll dust something before I leave it. And then I'll go to the laundry and, put stuff in or fold something before I leave it. Do you understand? So hang on, let's see what Sandy's saying. That's what I've been doing. I'm trying to enjoy every minute of it. I had some organizing to do that I've put off. I do a little when it rains. Okay, so seriously, you're not telling us. What is it you're trying to organize? Because it sounds to me that you are avoiding whatever this is, and I'm trying to get real. What is it you want to organize? Your whole life? The world? You've had a lot of sun recently, and isn't that wonderful? Enjoy it. There was a reason why they have spring cleaning, not summer cleaning. And you can maybe you give yourself permission not to clean in the summer. I'll do it in the fall when it rains. But I was in the middle of a telephone call with a friend of mine, Sandy, yesterday, and I was on FaceTime, and I said, you're just going to have to bear with me a second. I need to go and get a feather duster. And she said, what for? And I said, as I sit here, I can see dust. And I literally normally have either a Swiffer or a feather duster in each of the rooms. And I literally said, if I leave it now, I might miss it for another week. So I need to go and get something and just dust that. And I did, just while I was on a telephone call. So how many telephone calls do you have? It's clothing that need to be put away and gone through and then put away, right? So one pile at a time. The first thing is get it out of sight. Okay. So can you put it all into one bag and hide it in the bathtub or in the shower? Because if you hide it, it's not a bad idea. You won't keep going guilty on it. But if you also, every time you open a closet, see that bag and say, every time I see it, I will take out two things and either put it away or throw it away, being donated or whatever. Okay, so I would say, if you can, get a bag in the closet and just literally take two bits out every day and make the decision. It's overwhelming, otherwise you would have done it. I know, I'm full of them. That's how I do my life, Sandy. And here's the other good thing to do, okay? Which is, if you really want to get it done, the next time it rains, take that bag, throw it on your bed. Empty it onto your bed. You will be amazed how much you get tidied up before you go to bed. You get overwhelmed, which is, how many times have you heard me say the 10-minute rule, right? Don't do it for more than 10 minutes. If you give yourself that permission. But what I do is, if I've got a task like that, whether it's a box or whatever, I will just throw it on my bed, literally the whole box, empty it onto the bed. What do I know? I'm going to move it before I go to bed. I know that. And the chances are I will have moved at least 50% of it into the recycling or garbage. So therefore, I will have done a lot of work. Now, here's the challenge that we give you, Sandy, right? When we see you next week, we're going to ask you how many bits of those in that bag you've sorted or put away. Because that's what you need. You need a reason to do it. And so we now have it on our list of things that we'll follow up on. How's that? We're going to help you do it. So don't get overwhelmed. You see, overwhelmed is a great reason. Yeah, I'm going to keep you accountable because I love you. Big hug. I'll get out of here. All right, everybody. So have a wonderful afternoon. I'll see some of you this evening for Jodie's Funnies and Factoids, which I really enjoy. I hope you enjoyed learning about scrubbing bubbles in the kitchen. And I hope that you will continue to feed me bits of information about what else you found works. And Beth, we really hope that you are on the mend there. And I'm sorry that you got a lung infection, but hopefully you will be able. If you're on oxygen, that means you're off work, right? So we'll put up some thoughts and prayers for you and hope that things are a little easier. Jeannie, my pleasure, really, honey. You keep taking one step at a time. I am certain that when the demo of the walls happens to your house, part of you will feel so sad. But the truth is, once the walls are down, your life will start to rebuild in a very serious way. And they're going to rebuild really quickly, Jeannie, because they want that money before the winter, right? And that's why it's a really good thing, which is, you live in part of the world where winter comes pretty quickly. So they're going to get that framework up before winter hits. And that means that, you are going to have your new home very quickly. And I say very quickly, it might take a year to get the whole thing finished, but the good news is that the walls are going to go up really quickly, which will give you something to enjoy. Jeannie's saying her tomato plants are doing really well. I've got one. Tommy is still alive and doing well. I definitely will do this a different way next year. Yeah, Beth says, I'm stubborn for things to get me down. We know that, Beth. Yes, I'm off work indefinitely. Good. And I'm saying good because I really do think you need to rest as much as you hate it. So we'll give you a little task so that you can do it, and feel free to keep feeding us cleaning information. And we'll get you being our cleaning editor. And if you like, Beth, we'll do one segment a week where you can share your knowledge with people. And I think that that would be something that will give you something to do. And as I said, we can't remind ourselves of these things too often. This is DearMamaSal saying, we'll see you tonight, people. And for those of you who will also be there on Sunday, thank you for the support. Love you dearly. And hopefully this was of some help to you all. This is DearMamaSal saying, remember to look after one another. But please, 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 remember to be so careful of this pandemic. Doesn't matter what other people are doing. Know that this probably is more dangerous now than it has been for the last 3 months. So now is the time to get very vigilant again and protect yourself as best you can. This is DearMamaSal saying, bye-bye for now. Love you.